Alrighty, so today I wanted to mess around with the Nidhoggr fight a little bit more since we have this new Ellate, and she is obviously not going to be better than the Summer Margaret because the Summer Margaret gives you more like basic stats and stuff like that. But if you don't have her, because she is technically a seasonal exclusive character, which is really dumb for them to make that the Nidhoggr specific unit, you might be trying to look for a replacement. It does look like that she's going to end up being in the newest banner that we get because she is able to be voted for, and it seems like people are voting for her. So there's a decent chance she'll be in there. Obviously, it's a whole different story if you can actually get lucky enough to pull her or not. But hey, if you I don't know. I wouldn't really recommend you summon for Ellate, to be honest with you, but if you've already summoned for Ellate, or you end up having her at whatever point while watching this video, maybe it's in the future at some point, you might be able to use her as some sort of like replacement character. I think that she could be okay, mainly for the fact that I like Red Magelda on the Ragnarok Nidhoggr team, mainly because she has an ult gauge removal card, and that can be very helpful because sometimes the ult on these on this fight can be pretty obnoxious sometimes, especially on like the last floor, last phase. I'm pretty sure when he uses that ultimate, it puts like 6 or 7 ignites on you or something like that. Like, it's a lot of ignites, and if he follows up good enough, he can do quite a lot of damage. So just taking ultimate move gauges off, or just like postponing him using the ultimate, can be definitely very beneficial. So I think that that could be a really nice added bonus. On top of that, we do actually have this recovery card. It's not like the craziest card you've ever seen, of course, but on one hand, having a recovery card is kind of nice because you'll have a little bit of just like a dedicated heal. You won't have to worry about with Margaret, for example, you only heal whenever you remove debuffs, and it's dependent on how many debuffs you actually remove. So that could be kind of nice, like an actual like hardcore heal. I mean, obviously we have Liz on the team who heals with her attack card, and her ultimate obviously heals as well, so it's not like the most needed, but another good use case for it, oof, that was close, could be the fact that in Floor 3 Phase 2, he actually has a, I'm trying to use this, he has a set of debuffs, or like gray buffs that he puts on himself, and it will remove the immortality gauge depending on which cards you use. And normally with the team, you don't have a recovery skill to take advantage of that if he ends up putting the recovery skill on. So it could be a halfway decent option in that regard. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be like actually good to have it or not, but I don't know, it might be nice if you end up kind of getting into that situation. Obviously, I think the stats that Margaret is giving you and stuff compared to the stats that Ellate gives you is probably not going to be, like you wouldn't want to run Ellate if you already have Margaret, I think. But yeah, I don't know, there could be some nice like sort of caveats, I guess, to it. You know, she's not that bad of a character or anything, so we do get disabled here, which isn't that bad considering we have a cleanse in hand, which is nice. Because we're disabled, I assume I need to cleanse first anyway. Does this still work, actually? I actually don't think the buff card works because of that. So I think if I had a level 2 recovery skill, it would work. But I'm actually not even sure about that. So let's go for the heal, and then just maybe try to push some damage here. I don't know why I'm getting so stuck on Floor 1 Phase 2 here, but I guess that might kind of... I mean, I'm getting a little bit bad RNG. I haven't pulled any like decent Mael cards either, but yeah, I guess if I was going to run this normally, I don't think I would have too many issues with this because of the basic stats and everything, but I think it's RNG kind of messing with me a little bit here as well. I actually don't know that I've seen this ultimate. This is actually kind of cool. Okay, he laser beams us. Okay, not that much damage, actually. Anyways, we're okay. We're doing fine. Honestly, this could be very, very nice as well. A lot of people were using the red Ellate for a while because of the fact that red Ellate has the ultimate with debuff immunity, and I actually think that that could be really, really beneficial. Well, I guess let me just move that to get my ultimate, because I'm pretty sure this my ult's probably going to kill. Okay, well, not quite, so it's fine, it's whatever. This should kill. But yeah, the debuff immunity can be really, really nice as well, because I mean, like I said, that one ultimate gives you like so many ignite stacks. There are some situations where like he puts disables and stuff on you, so I think he does have a couple of different phases where he actually removes buffs when he attacks, but I mean, there's not much you can do about that in some scenarios, so you'll just have to kind of, you know, play it and see how it works out for you. I think we're just going to go for some level 2 cards here to get the bar down, not do too much damage, kind of set up for next turn killing, hopefully. So, level 2 card. Obviously, I think one of the biggest downsides is that her card is not going to do a whole lot of damage. I know that the Margaret Stance Cancel doesn't really do a whole lot of damage either, but I think that it's at least a little bit more... I don't want to say useful, because, I mean, removing ultimate move gauge is kind of nice. I guess both of their attacks are sort of utility-based. It's not necessarily about the damage that it's going to deal, but her passive is also going to start, like, stacking and stuff like that if you have Margaret, and might end up doing much better in that regard anyway. So let me, I guess, use that heal to make sure that I'm topped off, and then we can just go ahead and finish off this phase here. So, maybe a little bit long-winded. I maybe talked too much during phase 1. We'll try to buckle down and focus when we get into second floor. Let me go over there. Okay, so here we are. We're back at it again. I typically for this part just kind of go for something like this. I'll just throw that card away because it's not really all that necessary. I think I typically try to keep a Stance Cancel card in hand for whenever I get to phase 2, so that way I can take off the damage dealt increase, because that can be a little bit troublesome. We're basically just going to get him as low as we can here, and then we'll just attack with Liz to remove the Immortality buff and push phase. We get another Freya card, which is kind of nice. We can start trying to build up her passive a little bit more as well. Might actually be able to go for the level 2 here with Ellate. It's not going to be anything crazy, but that should, yeah, it's going to remove our debuffs and heal us a little bit on top of, we can go ahead and push phase. I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. She didn't heal herself very much, surprisingly, but the rest of the team is pretty much full. We do push phase with that. I don't think that's going to be enough to heal her. I think because she might be missing so much HP, he might end up targeting Ellate, which could be a bit of a problem there. I mean, like I said, you know, this isn't going to be the greatest of all time by any means. Actually, I think I'm thinking of phase 3, or floor 3, whenever he has the damage dealt increase. I think on this one, you just want to make sure that you're not removing all 3 stacks, because then he gets the, whatchamacallit, he gets the damage dealt increase. So let's go for this. We're just going to remove 2 of these so we do more damage, and then I think we're just going to pelt him a little bit with some damage. Try to move into this last phase. The last phase is kind of more just like stall-y, kind of annoying than anything for this floor. I think a lot of people actually have more trouble with floor 2 phase 3 than they do floor 3, which is kind of funny. I think floor 3 can be a little RNG heavy, at least when it comes down to floor 3 phase 2. That's always the one that kind of like trips me up a bit whenever I play it. But you might not have that bad of a time as I do with it. Some, you know, it just depends. Like if he, on that phase, if he ults and then double attacks, I'm basically screwed. Sometimes I do get better RNG, and he will actually, you know, attack first, then ult, then attack. It's not too often that happens, but when it does, it saves me a lot of heartache, because he's not going to absolutely one-shot me. Because if you don't know, when he ults in that phase, he puts an extort on your entire team, so he gains a lot of stats, he's lowering your stats, and then he's pretty much going to be guaranteed to kill you if he attacks twice. So we'll see how that goes. Honestly, I think he removes buffs in that phase, if I'm not mistaken, but honestly, it could be kind of nice to get debuff immunity for that, maybe. I'm not 100% sure if that's going to work the way that I want it to, but either way, we now have debuff immunity on this phase, which is actually really good because this phase is the one where at the beginning of each of your turns you're going to gain, I think it's 3 corrosion stacks, which can be kind of annoying. If you don't know the basic gist of this fight, you just need to keep him below 50% HP for a couple of turns, and then he will lose his immortality gauge slowly. Or not slowly, but if you keep him below 50%, I think he loses 33%. So you just need to make sure that you're, you know, doing at least a decent amount of damage to him. You don't have to do the most you've ever seen by any stretch of the imagination, but you know, you got to do a little bit. So let's go ahead. Yeah, he definitely, okay, so he's already removed buffs from Freya, so that's a little annoying. I think we're just going to do damage with Mael and go ahead and throw this away as well. If I can get another Elizabeth attack card, that would be very beneficial, because I could actually remove these damage dealt decreases that he puts on himself. Those can be kind of annoying because I think they're like 30%, so they're actually pretty significant. Luckily, we got a removal. So if those stack up too much, you do have to kind of worry about that. So definitely be a little cautious when it comes to those. If you can remove them, I guess it's better to maybe not remove them at the beginning of the fight. If you haven't, you might want to save your means of getting rid of his buffs for like a later phase, because it's pretty easy to do damage to him at the beginning of the turn. I think we're just gonna go ahead and use this Mael ult, I think. So he's gonna ult here. I think I'm gonna cleanse with Liz. That should get her ultimate. I'm gonna go ahead and attack with this, and then I mean, we're going to do a lot of damage anyway. I think we just move this to get ultimate, which I think we were going to gain it anyway. Maybe, do I go ahead and remove the buffs? I think I do, because I already have such good cards in hand. Because I'm going to have, that level 3 Mael card is going to go crazy. We're going to gain ultimate for Freya and the other two. He's already pretty low on HP. It shouldn't be a big deal. So now that we've stalled for 3 turns, kept him below 50% the entire time, he's at 0 gauge. This shouldn't be too bad, right? I don't remember. I have my ultimate animations on for some reason. Okay, so it actually didn't do that much at all. I think my Tarmiel link helped quite a bit there, though. So he did derank my cards. It's a little unfortunate. I think what we're going to do is just go ahead and ult for the full heal, and then just do big damage. Mael goes pretty crazy with his Suncutter card, so we're just going to heal up to full. We're going to ult with Freya. That's more than enough damage. He might actually heal from like passive. Like I was going to say maybe we didn't even have to attack, but I think he would have gained a decent amount of HP back at the beginning of his turn, so I don't think my Abyss would have saved me there. But hey, those are kind of nice. Anyways, let's move on to floor 3. Could be good or bad. Okay, so I'll be honest, I hate the mechanic for this first phase. I know that not everybody's going to be able to do it, but if you have Freya on the field and you have Mael on the field, if you have enough stats, you can actually one-turn this phase. I'm actually kind of curious to see, since I'm losing a little bit of stats by running Ellate instead, if I'm still going to be able to do this. It looks like I've still got it, but if you can't one-turn this phase, there's a lot more like roundabout stuff that you have to do. You basically just need to push for ultimates and everything, and then just like ult a whole bunch of times in one turn to lower his immortality gauge down. It's really, really annoying, so I definitely prefer, if you have enough damage, to try to one-shot that phase if possible. Luckily, okay, so this was actually a little bit more RNG based, because to do that strat, I have to use both of my Freya cards, both of my Mael cards. Typically, I'll have the Margaret stance removal to fall back on. Luckily, I was able to pull a Flood card from Freya, which means that I can actually stance removal that. So that might have actually kind of screwed me a little bit RNG-wise if I didn't pull that. So do be a little bit cautious there. I think we're just going to go ahead and throw these cards out. Typically this phase is you're not doing as much damage to him because he has a lot of damage reduction going. And on top of that, because it takes so long to sort of whittle his HP bar down, you're having to worry about this mechanic up here anyway. So yeah, just making sure that we see what's going on. So you can see, I'm pretty sure this one right here, I think if it's 2 swords crossed, it's an ultimate. I'm pretty sure this one is just a regular attack card. So each attack card should be removing a little bit more of his immortality gauge at this point. You also have to worry about he has darkness stack. So if you're familiar with Berserk Estarossa, if you don't attack or use a card with a specific character, they are going to gain a darkness stack, which could be a little bit troublesome. So I think what we're going to do here is maybe try to push towards Elate's ultimate. So let's go for, you got to be very careful with your stance removals. He is going to use a stance every, I think it's 2 turns. So he's going to, if you use a stance cancel card, it increases his gauge. So you got to be a little bit careful in the sense that he is going to be very annoying in the sense that he's going to make you stance cancel him every so often. And on top of that, you are going to have to worry about, increasing the gauge when you're trying to keep it low so that way you can kill. It's just like a whole balancing act. It can be pretty rough sometimes, but we're going to see how it goes. So we're going to use cards with these 3. We did not use a Mael card, so he gains a darkness stack. Not the worst thing in the world. He doesn't typically go for Mael in my setup, so I should be fine. One thing that I'm a little worried about is if he ends up doing attack card, ultimate, then attack card, which he's not. This is going to be really tough for me. A lot of the times he'll attack the Margaret in this slot. I don't know that he'll do that for us, but we'll see how it goes. I'm going to go for... It doesn't matter how much I do here. Damage, or it doesn't matter how much I try to buff up or anything, because I think his attack card is going to cancel my buffs anyway. So it will be, I think I've only survived a double attack twice. So this is about to be terrible if I'm being completely honest with you. I guess we will use the Ellate card just so that way she doesn't have a darkness stack on, or do we just go for some more damage? Because Ellate taking the darkness stack isn't really that big of a deal. I don't know, because the ultimate itself doesn't really do that much damage. You'll see. Okay, so we got the recovery one now. If I would have used the Ellate card there, it actually would have removed some more of the gauge. We can just do that next turn if we survive this, but I'm going to be honest, we're probably going to get destroyed here. He's going to ultimate, and he's going to double attack Freya, if I had to guess, and then it's going to be a bad time. So, yeah, we'll probably have to reset on this one. You can see the attack itself doesn't do that much, but me surviving 2 hits after this is pretty rare. Okay, we actually did, so that's very good, and we have a cleanse as well, so that's very, very nice. Let's go for... I don't have the greatest attack cards, unfortunately. I'm not going to be able to kill here, I don't think. So let's just go for this. We'll just try to make sure we don't increase his gauge this turn. We can throw debuff immunity on next turn if we really need to. You can see that the bar went down a little bit there from the recovery skill. Yeah, that's pretty low damage. It is what it is. There's not really much I can do about that. He's getting pretty low on HP. Unfortunately, he throws up the stance here, so that is going to be a bit troublesome. Okay, he attacks there. I'm actually... Because this has a stance cancel on it is the issue. He doesn't have the buff one or anything, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which cards I use. I pretty much have to ult first. So let's just go for this, and then I guess we'll throw... I could just merge these for to get her ultimate, as well as clear up some card space. I think I'm just going to throw the Freya card out here, so that way she doesn't gain darkness stacks, because I don't really want her taking any extra damage if possible. So now he actually has the buff one on. So next turn we actually may be in a pretty decent position, because we can use the buff card. He doesn't have the ultimates one. We didn't gain any recovery skills. I don't know if we're going to be able to kill here or not. I think we might be okay. I think we might be able to push with 12%. But let me see. So we're going to throw this on. It's going to remove some gauge. We just throw out attack cards here, I guess. He is going to ultimate, but he uses a stance cancel right after, or a stance afterwards. I kind of need to push for Mael's ultimate just in case, though. I think I'm gonna go for it. If that doesn't kill, I'll try to reset. And we'll see how that goes. So, buff card removes... Okay, 6%. I think that we're good. Okay, that only removed 1%. So, I don't think that's the attack. That one removed 2%. And then this one removes 2% as well. So, I'm not... I didn't get any buff cards either. That is terrible for us. We did get a stance cancel, which is great, but I'm not loving the cards that we're pulling here. Let's go ahead and use these. Elate's going to gain a stack. See, you can see why I hate this phase right here. This is the phase that I always kind of get like messed up on. Okay, we gained the ultimate right there, so we're actually going to lower some more gauge. Okay. This one's taking decades, unfortunately. Okay, we actually have a decent amount of Mael cards here. Ooh, so the debuff immunity helps out quite a bit there. She's the only one extorted. So that's really nice for me. Oh, I forgot we removed ultimate move gauge earlier, so it kind of threw off the cards that he was going to use there. That actually could have ended up screwing me if I was not paying attention like I was. But luckily I had debuff immunity on, so that's at least kind of nice. Let's throw this out to remove the extort. And then hopefully those are enough to take down the entire gauge. I'm actually not positive on that. Yeah, that only takes down 1%, 2%. I'm literally stuck to the point where he's so close to being able to die. Yeah, now he's on 1%. I think he throws up a stance this turn, though. Actually, I think we win right here because we can use one of these ultimates. That's going to lower his gauge down to 0%, and then once we attack, it should end up killing him. So I actually think we're fine. So let's go for this. Let's go for this, and then I'm going to throw that away. So this should lower his gauge down to 0. Then I'm going to kill with Mael. So boom, that does kill. We'll use this afterwards, so that way we go in with full health, and we gain some ultimate move gauge. That way we can use Freya's ultimate right here at the very beginning. And then from this point on, it should be pretty easy peasy. The Goddess team in general has just so much damage that you really don't have to worry too much about the mechanic to this phase. If you're unaware, if you can keep him below 70, or if you can get him below 70% of his HP every turn, he's going to lose 25% of his gauge. You have to kind of stall a little bit, like the previous floor. But those, honestly, that ultimate should be enough. Yeah, almost one-shots. If I had her with a little bit higher ult level, then it would be fine, but we're just going to push ultimate here with her, gain more ultimates, just rinse and repeat. We do have ultimate move gauge removal with Ellate here, so I'm pretty sure he normally ends up getting one ultimate off on me before I can kill. So we can either try to postpone that, we can try to get Elate's ultimate so that way we don't get ignited. I guess we just have a couple of different options here that we can kind of go for. The Abyss, honestly, right here is super great too, because it helps you not have to worry about doing even more damage. So I think we're just going to throw out this level 2, throw that away, and then we'll use both of these. I guess technically I should have just ulted there, but I should be fine. So yeah, almost 1,000,000 damage on this. It's really weird because I'm pretty sure I don't know if he just takes way more damage during this phase. Like there's something going on here. These characters don't do this much damage normally, so it definitely gives you a little bit of a boost, so that way you can actually play into the mechanic here, but it's fine. That should have been the last turn of our Abyss. This should go away at the beginning of our turn now. He did de-rank Mael's card there, unfortunately, but it doesn't really matter. His cards are going to do so much damage anyway. I think we'll just ult here. And then we can... I don't actually have an Ellate card, so we're not going to be able to take off that ultimate. So I guess it's fine. We can maybe just buff to gain some defense-related stats. And then we can use that to, whatchamacallit, we can use that Ellate card to remove the ignites because we don't have, actually we have debuff immunity on us for one turn at the moment. So actually, we shouldn't even have to worry about it. we're gonna be fine. So we don't get the ignites on us. Yeah, because we still have it for the rest of this turn. So boom, literally just deals damage at that point. No ignites applied. Great. We can even use this to just heal if we need to, but we're getting Elizabeth's ultimate so frequently because she gains 2 and blah 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 that it's not even a big deal. I typically forget about this and normally just end up lucking out. You do have to worry about him putting up this this stance every so often. Try to either keep a Mael ultimate in hand, or if you have a card with Freya, like single target, you can use that as well. I think we're just going to go ahead and ult with this because it'll do a little bit more next turn. Then we can... That's going to be more than enough, I think. So I kind of want to just throw on the... Maybe we'll just do the debuff immunity. We'll heal next turn. We'll just make sure that we deal a decent amount of damage this turn, I think. So we'll just throw that away. And then we should be good. So this turn, as long as we get him below 70%, which I'm pretty sure we will with this ultimate, boom, yeah, does way more than you need to. He'll lose that last remaining 25% of his HP, or his gauge, the immortality gauge there, and then we're pretty much good to go. If you do end up stalling too long, once he gets rid of this last stack, one of those get removed every single turn. He will actually gain an all stats increase. I think it's a 25% all stat increase buff, which can definitely be a bit troubling. It will deal, or he will start to deal a lot more damage. So if normally, like back before I was using this team, if he would get that all stats buff and ult me, I would basically be screwed. It would basically ruin the entire run. But depending on like how fast you can, or like how much damage you can do during this phase and everything, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. But you know, it just depends on a couple of different factors there. So hopefully that is enough damage to kill. I think I'm just going to throw this out, because it's not like that Ellate card is going to do much damage at all anyway. Yeah, I think we're still good here anyway. So this should deal a pretty decent amount. If it doesn't kill, which it didn't, the Pierce card actually is going to be enough. So, okay, there it is. Bit of a wasted run considering I locked in the deer for the week, but I'm just so caught up on relic mats at the moment, it doesn't really matter to me. But hey, this was a full clear. Surprisingly, didn't have to reset at all, which was great, of course. I'm not going to say that she's the best option. I'm not going to say that if you don't have Summer Margaret, you should go out and summon for her right now, because that's probably not the case. You could probably just throw some other goddess in this slot. They're obviously not going to boost your basic stats like she does, but I don't necessarily think that she's worth the 600 diamonds just for this. I think that she's going to be more of a PvP backliner than anything. I guess you can use her in this scenario, but hopefully, if you're lucky, you can pull the Summer Margaret sometime in the near future. But, you know, we'll just have to see how things go. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on using Ellate for Nidhoggr. I thought it was okay. I mean, obviously, you do have to take into consideration that I have 14 million box CC, and I'm done with the constellation of... whatchamacallit, the Merlin constellation, whatever it's called at this point. I am forgetting. But yeah, I do have quite a lot of stats, the constellation of Gluttony. So yeah, I'm a little bit ahead. But either way, thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe. See you tomorrow.